Batman The Adventures Continue is back with an all-new action-packed issue, and this time Dini and the gang are not kidding around with the timeline clues. We'll be going over all that and much more, but first, please consider clicking that little thumbs up button, that's the like button, and subscribing to the channel for more DCAU awesomeness every single week. Why would you not do that? 100,000 subs. Correction speedrun! Stuff we messed up last time. Batman did have electric batarangs in the Batman Vengeance video game. Thanks, Aaron! Robin did drive in Batman Adventures Volume 2 number 11. Thanks, Jesse! He also flew the Batwing in Superman Adventures number 25, and drove a motorcycle in the Batman and Superman Doodles coloring book. He even has the R helmet. But as a vigilante, it probably doesn't matter if he's old enough to drive. The Entomology Pavilion likely is the Gotham Museum of Natural History, or a wing of it anyway. Thanks, Lucas and Deoxys. Deux. And Paul Dini confirmed on his Facebook that he and Alan Burnett actually did originally put Asian giant hornets in the comic. Murder hornets are canon, and they always have been. Whew. Before we jump into Chapter 5, we're donating a portion of all of our Watchtower Database income this month to Reclaim the Block, a coalition that organizes Minneapolis community and city council members to move money from the police department into other areas of the city's budget that truly promote community health and safety. So whether you buy a bag of coffee, nab a free Audible trial, or even just watch this video all the way through, you're helping. You can also donate directly to Reclaim the Block at the link below. Okay, I took 2 more pages of notes this time than I usually do, so let's get to it. Page 2! The title is Mentors Part 3, following the first 2 parts over the last couple releases. But when we finally see this issue in print, how's that gonna work? With each pairing of chapters combined as one physical issue, will the first 2 combine as Mentors Part 1, and this and the next one will be Mentors Part 2? Will the title card pages be combined? Reformatted to fit the full page size? Both chapters' title cards be included per issue? It's apparent these are all half-size pages combining into full-size pages for the print version. Will this interrupt the flow? Are Digital First Comics stifled in creativity for panel layouts? You can't do cool diagonal Tim Levin's panel layouts here, man!
You finished?
Page 3! Robin name drops a teacher, Mr. Yulee, who I'm 99% sure is named after Len Yulee, who wrote Justice League's Metamorphosis and a bunch of Static Shock. Nice little Kirby crackle here on the fire. And this sign likely either says Giant or Ancient Reptile Pavilion. Either way, it helps confirm this is the Gotham Museum of Natural History. They're just now in the dinosaur part. The dinos we see on this page look to be a Tyrannosaurus Rex and a pterodactyl. And while we know nowadays that dinosaurs are actually more closely related to birds than reptiles, at the time the cartoon was airing, this wasn't as widely accepted. But we'll come back to era placement later in the video. Yes, we will. Is this our 4th T-Rex statue in the DCAU? OG Dino, the one from Superman, the one from Mean Seasons, and now this guy. At least we know where Batman can get another replacement. Welcome to the club, Rex. Page 4! How long is Robin's cape? It's so tiny on the last page, then long enough to wrap around himself here, and then back to tiny on the next page. We don't need 2 stretchy capes. Page 5! This is probably a Triceratops, though, as with the other dinos in this place, they could easily all just be from the same families as those I mentioned. I ain't no scientist. If you've seen our Jean Jones Superpowers video, you know that damn well.
Woo! Superhero landing!
Deadpool? What? I'm not Deadpool.
Page 6! Man, Ty wasn't kidding when he said he was drawing Tim a little taller. Congrats on finally having human-sized legs, buddy. And is Slade talking to himself or Robin when he says, time to get out of the sauna, old man? Is it like British people saying old chap? Tim is not an old man. Slade is kind of old. With all the dinos around, I'm reminded of this scene from Jurassic Park where Ellie shouts, "Run!" But is she talking to herself or Alan? The answer has evaded fiction analysts for decades, and now so will this. Page 7! Really nice coloring on the sky and Batman on this page. This may be my new favorite Batman panel from the series. Oh, nah. Put It Back is still S tier. Man, this version of Tim really is different from his genius intellect comic counterpart. He doesn't like geometry, he's failing civics and cold comfort. Is there a school subject he is good at?
How did you do on your math test?
Maybe science? Is there a robotics program at unnamed Gotham City High School and or middle school? There's a robotics program in my tiny podunk coastal town. There's gotta be one in Wayne Enterprisesville. Morrison Street, or Avenue, or whatever, is almost certainly named after comic book legend Grant Morrison. And K Street might be after Bob Kane, but they usually just come out and say it when it's him, and 2 name drops might be overkill, so... Okay. Page 8! Batman drops down on the fire truck in a T-pose before these kids gawk at the sight of his bat surfing a la the kids from Legends of the Dark Knight. Do we know how fast Gotham fire trucks are? I wouldn't be surprised if they're you know. This girl back here has a rather Black Canary-like outfit with a Starfire kind of coloring, but I'm probably reading too much into it. Sometimes people can just wear clothes without being any notable character. But this is definitely Dr. Occult. Why is he always just standing around? Do something with your life. Page 9. Fastidious means very attentive to and concerned about accuracy and detail. Page 10! Slade's costume is made of Kevlar, a material typically used for bulletproof vests, military armor, and motorcycle clothing. Heat resistant, it's also often used for the wicks of fire dancing poles, and it was also the base material for Batman's Batsuit in the Christopher Nolan films. In mainstream DC continuity, Slade also typically has Kevlar chainmail, though in the New 52 it's mixed with nth metal, the Thanagarian element that makes up their weaponry, like Hawkgirl's mace. Slade also has a Hephaestus sword. Hephaestus, of course, is the Greek god of metalworking and fire, and in the comics forged the God Killer, a big orange sword capable of killing gods. In Deathstroke Volume 3, Number 7, Hephaestus gives Slade this sword as part of an assignment to kill Lapetus, a titan who was banished to Tartarus, the underworld that we've seen a few times in the animated universe. Ah, so that's what Batman meant when he said that Robin was
with the Titans.
Hephaestus also appeared in the Justice League Unlimited episode Hawk and Dove, having forged the Annihilator armor for Ares. Hawk and Dove were also at times on Titans teams in the comic books and the live-action show. So now we've completed the reference circle. In that Deathstroke title, the God Killer sword is shown to have some level of sentience. It's alive and influences Slade's emotions. It's also able to change its size, growing much larger in its original appearance than here in The Adventures Continue. And another interesting touch is Slade's caption boxes that we see on the next page, which are colored the same way as they are in that Deathstroke series. The dinosaur on this page could be another Tyrannosaur, and Firefly's burning of all these definitely not pot leaves has his face looking extra blaze. Get ready for a meltdown, bounty hunter. You kidding, Firefly? I'm always ready for that great Mr. Freeze episode of Batman Beyond. And that's just the first half of the issue. Stick around after the break for fashion disasters, a Young Justice reference, and just how the hell this all maybe fits into the DCAU timeline.
There might be some momentary discomfort.
Gotham City is a playground with a vile criminal element. The playtime is over when Batman returns. Evildoers, you can't escape the Batman. He's back.
Page 11! Batman has brass knuckles, which I don't think we've seen before. We've seen a zappy version in JL and JLU, and his infrared eyepieces return. We first saw him use a much more clunky version of this in the Batman the Animated Series episode Blind as a Bat, as well as in Cyclops goggle form in On Leather Wings. But the technology has also found its way into the Batman Beyond Batsuit, as seen for just a second in Lost Soul. We did talk about Slade not having red eyes like his action figure though. Maybe these aren't infrared lenses at all. This is Hardak! Oh, and this is probably a Brontosaurus, but don't ask me what the heck this little dude is. I have no idea. Page 12! We were totally right about this panel from Monica Kubina's social media being from this issue, and wait, where did Batgirl go? She's gone, and Robin and some of the debris have been shifted around. Was Batgirl supposed to be in this whole scene? Was she in the last issue too and got removed when Ty went in to redraw Mad Hatter? It would make a lot more sense with the issue description mentioning her. Okay, Monica messaged me back. My editor had me take her out after the page was completed. She wasn't in the previous pages. But if Ty drew her here, then why was... and how did... Okay, if I'm gonna be able to handle all the timeline stuff in a couple minutes, I need an aspirin now. Page 13! Oranges! The firefighters here look a little bit different than how we've seen them before in the new Batman adventures. But do I expect Tide to look up every incidental person or object to match the world it inhabits? Yes, I do. Batman continues to be extra bat harsh with Robin, a la Growing Pains or Future Shock, and apparently, according to Monica, this panel's background was purposely left orange as a reference to the famous Bat Slap meme, the base for which originated in World's Finest number 153 from November 1965. I own this issue. I found it in terrible condition on the floor of a remarkably unkempt comic shop in Eugene, Oregon in 2016 and bought it for 10 cents.
Fly home, buddy. I work alone.
Wait, no, Jason is Buddy. I get confused. There's too many Robins now. I could handle 2 and 2 alone. Page 14! Could have fooled me that Slade wasn't designed by Mike Grell.
It's all predicated on the well-known fact that you only know how to draw one face.
Big Batman. Tiny Tim. Page 15! Aside from Hephaestus, Slade continues to name drop tons of stuff in this issue. First being government organizations like the Federal Bureau of Investigation, Military Intelligence Section 6, which was featured in the Batman episode Lion and the Unicorn, and the National Security Agency? Zeta? It's about the Zeta Project, Jake. He also mentions freaking Cobra, the terrorist organization we saw plenty of times in Batman Beyond, though they haven't been shown in the DCAU to have a specific leader outside of this unnamed dude in the Static Shock crossover. The character of Cobra did appear in the present-day DCAU in Justice League Adventures number 23 and Justice League Unlimited, the comic, not the show, number 31. But we don't know yet if these comics are canon. I'm slowly but surely figuring that out every Tuesday at noon on Twitch, link in the description. Come watch me do that or something, you know, whatever, no big deal, do it. Slade says Cobra was responsible for bringing Firefly back to life, alluding to him actually dying in that explosive accident we witnessed Slade's retelling of last issue, and also possibly alluding to the usage of a Lazarus pit, which has had ties to Cobra in the comics before. Batman does seem unflinching at the name, so it remains to be seen if this is just a cool little mention, or if Cobra will actually show up later. And if so, will they look like this? This? I don't know. Why are you asking me? We're not quite done with this page, but we'll come back to it for timeline business shortly. Page 16! Hey, Jason made it into this issue. He's not just a tiny f***er of light this time. Page 17! What's with this little bridge that just goes to trees? Where is everybody? Downstairs. Everybody is in fact not downstairs, Timmy. Where is Nightwing? Is he in Bloodhaven? Was he edited out of this issue too? If Batgirl was truly removed from the museum scene earlier, then her dialogue here was probably changed too, since she talks like she only heard about what happened. And we get the classic Wayne Manor living room of yore. Comment below with your top 3 moments in this room. Mine?
Mind the glass, sir.
Alfred! Alfred!
As well as this being the place where Ephraim Zimbalist Jr. last voiced Alfred in Starcrossed before his passing. I'm not crying, you're crying. And Barbara calling Tim Boo Boo is an obvious Yogi Bear reference, who teamed up with Deathstroke recently, wouldn't you know it? Page 18! Our Stalker exists, alright. Of course Stalker exists, but this long before Batman Beyond? Jason Todd continues to evade Batman's tracking, and all 3 of these peeps don't seem to recognize him from silhouette or profile, so it's still up in the air how close Jason truly was to the Bat family. Or if he's even from this Earth. But then again, people in the DC universe are more easily fooled than this on a regular basis. Page 19! Near Slade's hideout, we see the same bridge we saw in issue number 3, or number 2, however you want to count it, chapter 3. This appears to be the same bridge the Batmobile takes to get on the Donnenfeld Expressway in Batman and Harley Quinn, which heads toward Bloodhaven. So if we keep going by this no man's land map we saw in chapter 1, then this is probably the Brown Bridge, meaning Slade's hideout is likely in the Tri-Corner Yards, decommissioned Navy shipping yards. And Jason's grapple here is remarkably close to the ones used by Batman and Robin in the Young Justice cartoon, magnetically gripping and everything. Page 20, continuing the DCAU's usage of old jazz chart toppers, Paul Dini has Slade strolling by the Farmer Brown van while quoting lyrics from When Sunny Gets Blue, first recorded in 1956 by Johnny Mathis. And Sunny was Firefly the whole time? Then who was Phone? So Slade and Firefly were working together. Technically. Weird that Slade would inner monologue about Firefly as if Firefly is Firefly, but Firefly's still rather masculine body type reminds me of Phantasm's magically robust costume, and I guess all this means Firefly didn't sell his soul to a demon after all. Unless Sunny did. No, Sunny, no! Jason is keeping tabs on Slade. Why? What this man even doing? Maybe he used to be Slade's partner, not Batman's, and Sunny replaced him. Tell me what is happening. Page 21!
Lex flippin' Luthor.
Yes, our esteemed Mr. Luthor is behind it all. Or behind a lot of it anyway. Slade mentioned all these government agencies earlier, and Barbara mentioned the CIA a couple pages back, basically covering every base but Cadmus. And lo and behold, but a white tie on a white shirt? Come on, Lex, you dated a fashionista once. Surely you know better. Oh no. This is what Lex always wore in the Superman cartoon, in Justice League, in Justice League Unlimited. Oh, whew, he finally figured it out. Well, at least he ended the series with a sense of fashion. Ah, damn it, man! I don't think Luthor is sitting in LexCorp, though. There's too many lines on the windows.
I know.
But Lex, this can't be the same location.
I know!
Ooh, he's in Professor Ivo's house. Wait, no, that got blown up. I do appreciate that Lex's face is at a flat face-on angle on this screen, though. Far too often, cartoons will have people on TVs facing the same angle as the camera, as if they're in 3D. This is a pet peeve of mine, and I'm glad Ty and I are on the same page. for once.
I love you, Ty.
And Luthor calls Slade Errol Flynn, a movie actor famous for playing Robin Hood in the 30s. Flynn was regarded as the swashbuckling successor to Douglas Fairbanks, who famously played Zorro in The Mark of Zorro, the film the Waynes are often seen leaving right before, well, page 22. Slade brings up making toasts with Lex Luthor, who Bond villainly did the same with Amanda Waller in JLU's Clash, another entry in the DCAU where Lex is town. And Jason finally has eyebrows. Ooh, I know what I'm gonna make the newest Discord emoji. Let me just take care of that. And there we go. So that's every page of this comic. We're not quite done yet. I did skip over a few things because, well, we may be deeper into Justice League territory than we thought.
We'll return with more of the Caped Crusader, the Batman, on Cartoon Network.
Oh my god. Hey everybody, this is the part of the video where I say all the new patron names and thank everybody who supports us at patreon.com/DCAU Watchtower. It's a Patreon party. We do this every week, so if you join up, whoever's hosting the video will say your name. Like Noah Orozco. Thank you very much, Noah, for becoming a patron. JCT13332. Is that like junction? Are there that many junctions? Okay, Maxie. Here comes our junction. 13332. And Mac, who now gets their name said every single video, along with, let's see if I can do this from memory, Dark Poet 1792, Robert Sterling, Daniel Chan, Aaron Young, Cameo Shadowness, David Gallagher, Luke Mears, and Richard Mon 12. Thank you to everyone who continues to support us on Patreon. You'll see all the names at the end of the video. Don't skip that part of the video or I'll know. If you want to get on that list, go to patreon.com/DCAU Watchtower. It's here somewhere in front of me. There's all sorts of cool stuff over there. You can do video chats with us. You can get artwork. Oh god, I think I messed it up. You can see the videos like a day early. A bunch of other stuff. Go look at it now. And yeah, happy Patreon. Back to the thing. Thank you.
Now, back to the Dark Knight. Now back to Batman.
So last video, I said, it's gonna be a lot easier if we just wait till this whole mini-series is over and do a timeline video on what we definitely know by the end, instead of guessing every issue and then something next issue contradicts that. But I can't just skip over a 9/11 reference. The question of whether or not the events of September 11th, 2001 did occur in this universe has been something we've been curious about for a long time. The only real evidence we ever got was this animated style Static Shock piece by Dwayne McDuffie from DC's 9/11 comic, which has its own minor continuity problems. We'll get to that some other time. We got a mention of the World Trade Center in Superman Adventures number 15, and a handful of mentions of the Pentagon throughout the DCAU. But now we basically have a, yeah, 9/11 happened. This is also further confirmation, on top of a quick peek in Batman Adventures Volume 2, that the DCAU does have a New York City. But, and I say this with as much sensitivity as humanly possible, would 9/11 have played out the same way in the DC animated universe? The city-uprooting explosive events of Rise of Sinzu and Starcrossed presumably happened before and after 2001, respectively. Not to mention the tons of other world-ending cataclysms that go on all the time. And think of how many times Superman has swiped a plane out of the sky. I don't know, it's all a bit weird, but with how delicate of a subject September 11th is, I doubt the DCAU creatives would change much or anything about it were they ever to depict it. But in terms of the timeline, we now know this comic takes place at least after September 11th, 2001, meaning we're definitely in Justice League time at the earliest. I won't extend this particular video with all the details, but per our video a couple years back on the timeline of the JL cartoon, a good chunk of the series takes place between October and December of 2001. Included in this grouping of episodes is Only a Dream, where Firefly has his normal costume and is like alive, and A Better World, where Lex Luthor is pardoned for all prior crimes. So if we're after both of those episodes, things start to add up a lot more. Luthor's returned to businessman in the front, supervillain in the back mullet mode, even without hair. And if this new Firefly armor was something Firefly made before he got injured and or died, then it makes sense why he didn't have it in Justice League. But did Firefly make the suit? Or did Slade and Sunny? Will it come back into play later? Is Firefly actually definitely dead to make sure he wouldn't interfere with their plans? Did Slade kill the real Firefly? Did Hephaestus make the Firefly armor? Hephaestus works well with this timeline placement too, since with Wonder Woman active, Greek gods are commonplace. And it works nicely with Batman talking to Alfred on comlinks, a seemingly post-TNBA bit of tech. And it goes along with Tim's Age of Defiance, something experts regard as teenage years beyond the age of 13. Tim's age at the start of TNBA. He'd be at least 15 in this series if we're past 9/11. This does mean the exosuit Lex has in the first couple chapters isn't a prototype after all, since we're likely past all its on-screen appearances. Was Dini's prototype answer just to get Hector off his back about it? He knew all along. This also means the far side of the moon battle wasn't nighttime, and it does beg the question of why Batman called Clark Kent's personal phone number instead of using Justice League methods, or even getting a hold of any of them to help try and find Superman. And how did Lex escape custody after chapter 2? Superman and Batman catch him doing bad guy stuff purple-handed. And is the white tie confirmation that we're not during Lex's involvement with Cadmus? And how does Brainiac still work with all this? There's still so much to be uncovered, but this is a much stronger link than we've yet to have. Now, Mr. Dini, all you have to do is not mention that the Justice League does not exist yet. Either put them in there, or don't say anything at all. Then it all works out pretty smoothly. This is my one Christmas wish. Conclusion! Another very solid issue. With those Zeta and Critters Easter eggs continuing, maybe we can get a Batman and Harley Quinn reference next time, like Lady Shiva or Argus, to complete the meme triumvirate, and probably push the timeline to after the Cadmus arc. Okay, I changed my mind. Being able to look back at all these in context, the whole thing is really coming along nicely. The story's pretty dang strong, and it's nice to have Luthor back, making the opening couple chapters feel much less random. I do wonder why Luthor is focusing on Batman so much, since he's typically a I don't like Superman type of guy. And it's a little odd that the Titans of the DCAU should exist by now, but Robin at the very least only just met Deathstroke, and he isn't with the Titans during this comic. Maybe he's only a Titan on the weekends. I'd hazard a guess that Slade may have been working with Mad Hatter in the same way he and Sonny meddled with Clayface, and possibly Firefly, in order to distract Batman so Slade can more easily influence Robin and Batgirl. It'll be interesting to see what his Avengers Endgame is, especially since these are sort of similar plans to Sinzu's, using military tactics to split up Batman and his teammates. No movement on the Hush front quite yet. We're not giving up hope, unless Batman's red eyes are another Hush clue. Wait, no, Slade's sword can shapeshift. The God Killer is Hush! It's gonna be real fun when this series is over and we can try to figure out how all this timeline stuff for sure works. Such is the nature of prequels, or in this case, prequels slash sequels slash sidequels. What if we have to push JLU to the next presidential election in 2008 in order to fit everything? Oh god, Mr. Dini, please don't make us. As the names of all our beautiful Patreon supporters whiz by my slightly less beautiful face, I'll have you know that clicking the little red subscribe button is completely free. But if you do want to help us out, you can go to patreon.com/DCAU Watchtower and sign up for one of our many Shui rewards tiers. Other ways you can help out the channel and reclaim the block include our merch store, our custom Ko-fi, and our Audible affiliate link, all of which you can find in the description below, as well as a Reclaim the Block direct donation link. I have finally allowed you to experience Maddie again this coming Sunday for a new breakdown of the DC animated movie universe, watch order, and timeline, up to date with Apocalypse War, which also finally picks up our in-channel storyline that the quarantine continues to delay. You can catch up on that at the Quarantine Story Catch-Up playlist below. And I'll see you again in a couple weeks for the adventures continue, Chapter 6. Oh, you're gonna subscribe, folks. Next time.